So now we are ready to assign classwork or an assignment. As you can see, I'm in my period 1. I'm going to go here to create an assignment. Now to create an assignment, you do have a couple of options. I'm going to talk about the first option on how to do an assignment. So I'm just going to call this, I do one for Achieve 3000 article. Give it a due date. You can just select any due date. I don't do a time. And then the first way to assign an assignment is by giving them something to fill out. So let me just show you what that looks like. So I have a document in my Google Drive already. Here's my classroom. I have a folder specifically for 6th grade. And I have this document called Modelo de Artículo. The students will actually have to fill in information on this template and then submit it to Google Classroom. So once you have the item selected, you now select to which you could do this to all my 6th graders. So that's my period 2 and my period 3. One thing that I found out is in the Macs, if you're kind of zoomed in, you can't see the bottom classes. So if you do Command minus, you can zoom out. Command plus, you can zoom in. So if you can't see that, it's something I had to figure out. It's just zooming in and zooming out. So there's my 3 classes selected. I have this template that they're going to fill out, and I'm going to give a copy to each student. I found that this was easiest because then they just fill it in and submit it to me. So here's a copy for each student. 3 classes selected. I got the due date, I got the name. I'm going to go ahead and assign. So here's assigning the assignment for my 6th graders. Okay, I'm going to show you in a little bit what it looks like. I have an 8th grade example that I'm going to show you. Shouldn't take this long usually, but sometimes it does. So here's the article for them. So I can't show you what a student looks like. I don't have that example, but I can show you from another period what happened. Here's my period 4, which is 8th grade. Here's an assignment that they did. It's called Google Classroom. This is an example where I shared a copy of this to each student. So each student received this document. It kind of just gives them the information that I want them to give me. And I have the questions here that they had to respond. Okay, so I put all the instructions in this document, and they did all the work on this document. So this was for my 8th graders. So let me show you what it looks like when they turned it in first to Google Classroom. So you can see that 21 of them did it and 4 have not. Okay, so if I click on these 21 that finished it, I can see here the ones that are done, and then down here the ones who are not done. So it's kind of cool that kind of gives you a very good view of who's done and who's not done, and you can see that each one has a Google Doc that they submitted to me. So if you click on it, it'll open up on Google Docs, and then here you can see the finished product. Okay. What's good about this is that it automatically adds their name on top. They don't have to do anything. They just have to answer the questions. You can see that now they put in their own personal information. Before it was just kind of generic, and now they kind of just filled it in. Here's all the information that they submitted to me, answering the questions. Okay. And once you're here, you can highlight something. You can give them a comment, good job, or something a little more, give them a little bit of feedback. And then they'll get that. They'll get that comment when you go back to Google Classroom. Once you have given him his grade, give him 10 points, you can go ahead and return it to him. One thing that I learned is that when a student submits a document, it becomes yours. You get a copy of it. They can no longer make changes to it. Okay. So that's what that looks like. Let me show you another example from my Google Classroom here. This is another example. So in this example, I did not give the students a template. Okay, like this template that I gave the other time. This time they had to create their own document, and then I found that in this example, they had a little more difficult time. I think it's easier just to give them a Google Doc with the questions and they can just answer them and be done. But sometimes you'll have to just give them something like this where they have to actually create the document themselves and then submit it to Google Classroom. Another thing that I did was I had them submit it to Schooloop. So let me show you what that looks like in Schooloop. So here's the Google Classroom assignment I just showed you. This is a very easy step for them. And this is what I get. It's just a Google Classroom and it opens right up. I can grade it here. Here's Julian. You can see the comment already there. And then from here I can just grade it. I mean, I could read it, give him his 10 points, and move on. So there is no more paperwork. So that's that example. Here's the one another one that they did without a template, but it's the same thing. They actually submitted this document. They created this document themselves and submitted it to Google Classroom and to Schooloop. Okay, so that's how you do assignments. Remember that I kind of liked giving them the example, the template to fill in. That was easiest, but I do know that sometimes you don't have to, you can't do that, so you kind of just make them create their own. And with practice, they'll get better at that.